Welcome back! My name is Baller Scuba. This is Video Games Over Time. We are still in 1982. Today, we're going to play Dig Dug. The story of Dig Dug takes us back to Namco. We have talked about Namco previously on Video Games Over Time. Galaxian, Pac-Man, Rally X, Galaga, and Bosconian have all been developed and published by Namco. For Dig Dug, Namco turned to Masahisa Ikegami to plan and design the game. Shigeru Yokoyama, the creator of Galaga, would help. Shigeichi Ishimura, who had helped program Galaxian and Pac-Man, would work on the programming for Dig Dug. Shuichi Fukutani and Toshio Sakai would also help program the game. Shuichi Fukutani had previously done programming on QDQ and King and Balloon. Yuriko Kaino would be in charge of the sound, her first video game. Hiroshi Ono, who had worked on Galaga, would create the sprites for the game. The game would be programmed on the Galaga system board. The idea behind Dig Dug was to create a game where the player could create their own maze. The idea was to capitalize on the very popular maze genre, thanks to games like Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man. Dig Dug would become what Namco would call a strategic digging game. Dig Dug is classified as a maze video game. The player controls Dig Dug, who is tasked with ridding the screen of enemies. Dig Dug can defeat these enemies by inflating them with a bike pump until they explode, or by crushing them under falling rocks. Once Dig Dug defeats all the enemies, the player will proceed to the next stage. If the player takes too long on a stage, the enemies will become faster and more aggressive. When only one enemy on the screen remains, the enemy will attempt to escape. The player will die if an uninflated enemy touches the player. Inflated enemies can be passed through without issue. Dig Dug was released in Japan on February 20th, 1982, developed and published by Namco. The game was released in North America in April 1982, distributed by Atari. The game would be released in Europe in April 1982 as well. That is the short backstory to Dig Dug. With that now told, it's time to play the game for ourselves. And here we are in the game. This is Dig Dug, and we actually get a bit of an introduction on the title screen for this game. It's a very nice title screen, I must say. There's a lot of good color here that we don't typically get to see on arcade games at the time. We get like giant sprites. That's always nice. We get our introductions to the enemies here. They are Puka and Fygar. We will be seeing a lot of them as we play the game. But this is a game, like I said, came out in 1982, released by Namco. We will watch the demo. The demo, I believe, plays the game particularly well, probably better than I do. But we will take a look at what they are able to accomplish here. If you are able to let that rock fall on your enemies, you get a ton of points for that. The high score is only 10,000, so for them to get 4,000 points is a huge deal at that point. But we'll see what we can do as I play the game. I'm probably not going to go for the rock kills all that much. I'm probably just going to go for a completion. It's a lot easier for me to just kill them by inflating them than to plan the boulder drops. All right, with that said, let's head in. Let's see what I can do. All right, I'm going to start by heading up, actually. You might notice that when your character walks, there is some music that plays, but then once you stop, the music just stops. That is because Yuriko Kaino could not figure out how to make a realistic sounding walking effect, so went with a little jingle instead. There we go. Done and done. Like I said, I like to go for the top ones first. The reason for that is pretty simple. They can't escape as easily. Get back here. I also feel like the inflation in this game was to try to get around violence in video games, but I would honestly say that inflating your enemies is far more violent than, you know, crushing them or anything like that, but maybe that's just me. No, he's trying to make a break for it! Get back here. No, I must inflate you until dead. No, come on this way. Where are you going? Here? There we go. Okay, we'll wait for you to come to me. No need for me to try to make things too difficult on myself. There we go. Round 3 done. Oh, they are very close to me now. Can I? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can partially inflate an enemy in order to get to walk through them. I usually just try to kill them, though. Oh no, they're after me. There we go. Yeah, the game is fairly simple, I would say. There's not a lot of complication going on here. It is classified as a maze game. I definitely disagree with that assessment, but that's where it is categorized right now. I would say at the time, it presented a much different sense of gameplay than your traditional maze game. There's a lot of strategy going on here that you would never use in a maze game. I didn't even know there were 2 of you there. Alright, all you guys gotta come to me. Come on, there we go. Let's get out of there. Yeah, if they're just gonna go up the shaft to try to get out, then I will wait for them there. No! Did I get crushed by a rock? Oh well, first death. It was bound to happen sooner. Really? They have never fired that far out before. Oh, come on, I was... Wow, just like 3 all at once right there on round 7. That did not go well at all. Sure. We technically have a continue here. Notice that it didn't actually continue. Yeah, the game, not always the most truthful about things. But we can start over. We can do a second round. Maybe I can get past round 7 again. I was undefeated, then all of a sudden, just bad things started happening. Didn't get the high score as a result. Tried to get out of there in time. Yeah, I had a good 1 run, but things haven't been going well since. Still like my chances. It was just 1 death. I can recover from that. Just hit him with my bike pump. There's not too many games that utilize the bike pump as a weapon. It's part of what makes this game iconic. What makes this game stand out from the crowd. Like I said, though, it is categorized as a maze game. I disagree. I feel that the gameplay is far different than what you would normally experience in a maze game. But it is technically classified that way. But I can see why people would say that. It's not like that's not coming from anywhere. Like I said, if you're just going to climb the middle, then I will wait here for you. Try to let them come to me instead. Alright, where are you going? You can technically get them a little bit before they're in your point, well, in your little tunnel in the open area, but where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? You can't get away from me. But it's a little risky to try to get them a little bit early like that. Like I said, it's a very narrow window of how much is available that you can shoot through. Are you gonna make it through here? There we go. All right, round 5 done. There's gonna be more of the more of the dragons as we continue. Sorry, I had to think about that one for a second. All right, on to round 7. Let's see what I can do here. There was not much I could do there. I think I can cancel inflating if I just moved, but I did not do that. Oh, geez, you guys are, like, coming for me. I was moving! They wouldn't let me move! Well, you know what? I got the high score. I'm gonna call that a victory. Go for the world record now. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. But I got the highest score. Nice little jingle for me. And I do get to actually enter my initials. That doesn't always happen at this time, but it's nice for me to put in my initials so that people know who did it. But there we go. And that is Dig Dug. Like I said, a fairly simple, straightforward game. It just kind of slowly gets more difficult as you go on. And with the game now played, it's time to talk about how the game holds up today. Playing the game today, I do have to say that it is a fun game. For me personally, only in short bursts, but I had fun playing the game. With that said, since they brought up the world record in the game, I figured I would look it up. It's over 5.4 million points, and it was done by Donald Hayes in 2017, at least as of recording this. That seems to be the world record. That is something that I will never even attempt to go for. Dig Dug is a fairly easy game. It's fairly straightforward, even though I apparently can't make it past round 7. But for me to be able to get to round 7 kind of makes it seem easy to me. The fact that for one quarter I can sit there and play for a good 5 to 10 minutes on a single quarter makes the game feel easy. And therefore it's probably not going to be as fun for arcade owners to own that because you could be making money faster if they spent their quarter on Defender, for instance. But let's talk about Dig Dug. Dig Dug is bright and colorful. I would say that the graphics of the game are its best selling point. I would argue that the graphics of the game are inviting. They're going to attract a younger audience than some of the shooters that we have been seeing. The graphics are going to draw people's attention and keep them entertained. The music in the game, I would say, is pretty good. There's not a lot of sound going on, but the little jingle that happens when you walk is fun and entertaining. It's also quite cute, I would argue. That kind of goes with the whole aesthetic of the game. It's definitely going for more of a cutesy feel to it, combined with the fact that you kill enemies by inflating them with a bike pump, which once again is a horrible way to go, but it, from a video game perspective, is quite cute to see them just kind of blow up and get inflated until they die. That's a cuter way to go than just shooting them with a laser. So the graphics are really good. The sound, at least what was available in the game, is good. The gameplay is something new. Although, like I said, we are going to be classifying this as a maze game. It doesn't necessarily feel that way when you play it. I'm not necessarily trying to figure out how to get somewhere as much as I'm trying to figure out what the best way to deal with enemies are compared to where I am. So it's a different sense. It's a different feel than a maze game, even though it's technically a maze game. I would argue that this game does hold up pretty well. It's simple, and that sometimes makes it effective. The game is fun for short bursts for me, but it's not something that I want to spend a lot of time trying to get a lot better at. I feel like I'm decent at the game, and that's good enough for me. So it's not necessarily a game that I would come back to, but for other people, it will be a game that they do want to go back to. And that's my modern take on the game. When the game was released, it became successful very quickly. In North America, Atari sold over 22,000 arcade cabinets by the end of 1982, earning $46.3 million in revenue, over $129 million in 2021. In Japan, Dig Dug became the second highest grossing arcade game of 1982. The critics were also positive about the game. In particular, the critics enjoyed the gameplay as well as the strategy needed for the game. Dig Dug would spawn ports, clones, and sequels. We will keep an eye on the story of Dig Dug as we continue. Namco would have another success on their hands, so it's no surprise that Namco would continue to be one of the top video game creators in the industry. We will hear from them again. As for Masahisa Ikegami, this would be the only game that he would create. We will not be hearing from him again. We will be hearing from Shigeru Yokoyama again. He would continue to work on video games at Namco, and we will be talking about those games. We will not be hearing from Shigeichi Ishimura again. This would be the last game he would take a major part in. We will not be hearing from Toshio Sakai again. This would be the only game he would work on. We will also not hear from Shuichi Fukutani again. He died in 1985 before he was able to play a major part in another major game. As for Yuriko Kaino, Yuriko would continue to make sound for video games at Namco, and we will be hearing from her again. As for Hiroshi Ono, he would continue to work in the industry, and we will hear from him again as well. That will do it for the story of Dig Dug for now. My name is Baller Scuba. This has been Video Games Over Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video when we solve a mystery.